Hi folks, welcome back. Now, needless to say, Vangelina Skov made a massive mistake by inserting herself into a conversation she fundamentally does not understand. She made a response video to my response to her video after choosing to involve herself in a back and forth that was originally between a man, myself, and a little gay guy. Like many feminists, she appears to completely misunderstand her role in the situation. But setting that aside, let's get straight into the point, because a video she just uploaded about an hour ago completely destroys any credibility she may have thought she had. Any objective observer can see that she effectively concedes the argument repeatedly and then scrambles to save face. That's what her video actually is. Now, from the very opening, she provides a false summary and strawmans my entire argument. She opens by claiming that my response was an attempt to say gay men are more likely to be pedophiles and that this somehow had anything to do with Adam McIntyre. She repeats variations of, "I don't know what this has to do with Adam," over and over as a refrain. We've already been through this, folks, and it's the exact same move Adam made. This is weak because it's a textbook straw man. What I've actually been framing repeatedly, in fact, across 4 or 5 videos at this point, is a discussion about data, overrepresentation, per capita analysis, and community refusal to engage uncomfortable patterns. It is not, and has never been, a blanket claim about all gay men. I've restated this endlessly, yet everyone reacting like this bends over backward to misrepresent my words so they can attack an easier argument. And the reason they do this is simple. They can't refute the data. That's why she never once quotes me making the claim she attributes to me. Instead, she repeats confusion as if confusion were a rebuttal, saying, "I don't get it," doesn't invalidate an argument. It just means you're intellectually incapable of engaging with it. Now, the key weakness here is that she substitutes performative confusion for actual engagement with my data and treats her misunderstanding as proof that I'm wrong. Now, I think it goes without saying that Vangelina is essentially admitting that she's cognitively incapable of holding this conversation, yet she insists on continuing it, only proving how out of her depth she is. She then reasserts credential claims without actually demonstrating any credentials at all. She, again, claims I don't know how to read journal articles, says I misrepresented data, and implies I likely didn't read the studies. At the same time, she frames herself as someone who can analyze studies. I already addressed this in my first video, and it's remarkable that she repeats the exact same mistake again. It's like she never learns. She provides no credentials, no methodological explanation, and no counter-analysis to everything I say. She presents no alternative data, no competing interpretations, and no corrected per capita calculations. Needless to say, folks, this is not expertise. This is just asserted authority. Saying I understand studies is not an actual argument. Expertise must be demonstrated by engaging the data, not by declaring some sort of superiority because you think you're superior. Anyone can claim to be anything on the internet. It doesn't mean it's true. Clearly, in her case, it's not. Anyway, then we get to the monetization issue where she immediately contradicts herself. She sarcastically apologizes for mentioning her Patreon and then instantly launches into free memberships, discount codes, time-limited offers, and extended Patreon promotions. This directly confirms my initial criticism instead of actually rebutting it. The sarcasm doesn't cancel the contradiction. It just highlights it. She frames monetization as a joke while actively monetizing the topic. Look, if you want to do that, then that's fine. But don't pretend you're standing on some sort of moral high ground. Your irony doesn't cancel your hypocrisy. It actually validates my claim in real time. You enjoy monetizing child sexual abuse. Anyway, all that being said, shortly after that, she immediately retreats to the same incoherent tactic, refusing to engage while actively engaging. She says she doesn't want to respond, doesn't want to have a back and forth, doesn't want to give me attention, then literally proceeds to make a full response video. This is a self-own of the greatest extent. If something is irrelevant, the rational move is just silence. Just don't respond. Producing a video while insisting it's beneath response is incontrovertibly incoherent. The truth is, she actually wants a debate, but without rules, structure, or any sort of accountability. She wants to say whatever she wants without being challenged. And that's just not how reality works. Anyway, unsurprisingly, she once again completely relies on the classic genetic fallacy, repeatedly claiming my motives are attention-seeking, a rage bait, or controversy farming, and asserting that I don't actually care about protecting children. Hey, guess what, Vangelina? I'm not the one literally pitching my Patreon to make money off of them. That's you in real time proving that you don't care about children and just care about monetizing their abuse for your personal gain. See, while in your case, you're speculating my motive, your motive has been made apparent by you by promoting your Patreon twice. Needless to say, her motive speculation here specifically is weak because it attacks why an argument is made instead of whether it's actually true. And even if her speculation in some universe were correct, it wouldn't invalidate the data. Okay, motive speculation is not actual refutation. Truth is independent of intent. This is basic logic. Now, if it's not evident yet, she completely avoids my actual thesis. She never addresses per capita logic, overrepresentation versus base rates, the distinction between orientation, victimization, and offending, or the claim about community insulation from scrutiny. And that matters because my argument is not Group X is bad. My argument is that certain communities aggressively shut down discussion of documented patterns, creating accountability blind spots. And in this specific case, the gay community has been shutting conversations around predation with minors. And in avoiding having that conversation, she attacks everything around the thesis while never actually touching my thesis itself. Anyway, she then returns again to citation pedantry without ever refuting any of the data I presented. She nitpicks publication dates, reprint sources, and link placement while never disputing sample sizes, findings, victim counts, or the per capita disparities I highlighted. These are clerical issues, folks, not substantive refutation. Correcting citation format does not negate empirical findings. Please engage with the numbers, okay? Now, her internal contradictions on victimization are especially telling. At one point, she argues that higher victimization could explain later offending, while simultaneously claiming my discussion of victimization patterns is illegitimate. She, once again, concedes the pattern exists while denying its relevance. You can't make this stuff up, folks. She grants the premise while rejecting the question. This is a complete internal contradiction. Do you hear yourself, lady? Now, one specific pattern that stood out for me is that throughout the video, she substitutes emotion for analysis. She relies on sarcasm, mockery, dismissive language, and ad hominem attacks. These are avoidance behaviors, folks, not actual analytical tools. If my argument were weak, the strongest move would be to slow down and dismantle it carefully. She can't do that. So she just has to speed through it and attack me the whole time. That signals discomfort, not actual confidence. Okay? And look, folks, if that wasn't enough, she then launches into a full-blown meltdown, relying on political deflection, bringing up ICE, Trump, Epstein, immigration enforcement, my nationality, and even my family. Look, none of this addresses my data. This is topic substitution, not an actual rebuttal. Expanding the frame doesn't answer the question. It just evades it. Bringing up my background and family is a desperate attempt to scrutinize me personally instead of actually engaging with the argument I presented. And as we all know, folks, when you can't actually debate the topic, you attack the messenger. That's what she's doing. Which brings us to a bizarre apotheosis. She escalates into pure ad hominem meltdown. She claims I lack morals, believe in nothing, assaults my age and character, and makes unverified allegations about substance abuse. She speculates about my parents, and it's needless to say, these statements are irrelevant, unverified, and non-responsive. When arguments end, folks, insults begin, and that's why she has to rely on this stuff, because she is having a full-blown meltdown. Like, this chick is so angry. I've never seen this level of anger in anybody in the longest time. She doesn't know what to do with herself. She can barely contain herself. That's why she has to bring my family into this and make absolutely ludicrous, unsubstantiated claims. And at the end of all of that, she claims she's done responding, doesn't want attention, doesn't do politics, and stands for protecting children. Yes, she posted a response, brought politics into it, monetized it, not once but twice, completely avoided the substance of what I said, and dismissed the topic as irrelevant. Her stated principles and her behavior are in direct contradiction, and she seems completely unaware of this. It's like this chick is just straight up retarded. Bottom line, her response fails on every analytical level. It's honestly embarrassing that she would post this and keep it up. There's no engagement with the actual claim, no data refutation, no alternative analysis, no per capita counter argument, and no response to the installation thesis. Instead, Her video consists of strawman framing, motive speculation, credential posturing, topic deflection, emotional mockery, self-contradiction, monetization of a video about child sexual abuse, and unhinged, unsubstantiated smears. Functionally, her video does not rebut me. It demonstrates exactly the behavior my argument describes, that the LGBT community is incapable and unwilling to engage in this conversation honestly and to actually hold itself accountable. And look, folks, I genuinely pity her. And I sincerely suggest she take her time perhaps reviewing her own videos. You don't even have to review this one that much, maybe as a lesson of how you can improve your arguments. But maybe sit back for a minute, rewatch your videos, and think before you humiliate yourself any further. I'm praying for you. Anyway, take care, folks.